But your shondo.
In my shondo, I felt it.
That's how you know. That's how you know you're just a Christian homosexual. You're only Christian homosexual. You ain't never heard no straight Christian man talk about in my shondo.
Just the church mothers and the gays.
Just the church mothers and the gays. That's how you know there's a little sugar.
Can you hear yourself?
Mm-hmm. Y'all can hear me.
Okay, I don't think you're loud enough though.
I don't hear that often.
I can't hear. Oh, this is you. This is me.
That's you. There you go.
I need to be here. You need to be there.
You need to be there.
You should have been there.
Come on now.
You should have been there.
Why are we like that?
I don't know why we're like this. Oh, maybe not.
Maybe not good.
All right, we're going to wait a minute.
Your thing ain't on.
I know. I got to let it run all the way through.
Oh, that's how
we can actually do it, and then we'll do it again.
You can do it again?
Because
I'm already too high for this.
Already?
Already, girl. I'm already making just being silly.
Okay, I think we're good. All right. Here we go. This is Brunch, Blaze, and Babbitt,
where we eat, elevate, and talk about
media trends from the past,
the present,
and the future
from a Black perspective.
I'm your host, Roger Turner.
And I'm your host, Alexis Bertrand.
So sit back,
spark up,
and let's get into it. Hey, Alexis.
Hey, Roger, baby.
What was that?
I said, hey, Roger. I can't even do it anymore.
What was that?
I was just me having the best time.
Child, how was your brunch?
My brunch was good. Clearly, right?
Yeah, what you have?
I'm still on my fruit kick. I am enjoying myself. This time, I usually do the trio of the blackberries, blueberries, and strawberries. I've added a mango with my banana and granola and honey and pineapple. It is divine. I love it. I think everybody, if you like fruit, you should really do a fruit
smoothie.
salad.
Fruit salad?
Salad, girl.
Salad. Oh, awesome. That's me that just
you a smoothie queen.
Everything into a magic bullet with all my vegetables.
But that should be tasty, though. I've sampled some of your workings.
It was good. I had a little vegetable smoothie along with some grilled chicken breasts. That was my brunch today.
I love that.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how high are you?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I am high boots.
You just threw the scale out. You're not giving me numbers no more.
Child, it's just pigging. It's just pigging. There's 10 and then it's just high boots.
Okay, high boots.
So right. I'm just there.
I am at a 6.5.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little warmth in my face.
Just a little. Okay, it's coming. It's coming. All right, come on now.
No,
I'm probably at an 8.
You probably at an 8?
Okay, let's be clear.
You probably at an 8 because it sounded like it was a little more than 8, but go ahead. Tell the people what we're talking about today.
Okay. So listen, in June we love June. It's Pride Month, and there's a lot of other wonderful things that happen in June, like Father's Day. So in honor of Pride Month and in honor of just wonderful dads, we decided that we want to talk about our favorite TV queer dads.
That sounds fun.
Now, doesn't that sound awesome?
It sounds fun.
Right, because we want to give some shine, particularly to like these incredible humans that don't always get their stories shared and always don't get their flowers. Right?
Right. So, so we're doing both queer dads and queer father figures.
Thank you for pointing it out. Yes, because that I know we're going to talk about the why of that later. Mm-hmm. But yes, like queer dads and queer father figures. And I want to qualify that by saying father figures are male identifying characters that somehow in some way end up playing a fatherly role.
Got it.
To the characters. They might not be casted as a dad, but they end up playing a fatherly role to the other characters in the show.
Before we dive into anything, I wanted to read some fan mail.
We got some fan mail.
Hey, fans.
Let's do it.
So a bruncher says, hey, besties, in parentheses, in my mind.
Oh, I love that.
I know I'm late getting to the spring cleaning episode, but I have to chime in with a few.
Come on.
It's giving tell me you are old or had older parents without telling me you're old. This is a direct quote. I didn't say this.
I
This is
love
what they're saying about
this. I
this is
love
what this
it.
fan is saying about themselves. Earth, Wind, and Fire fantasy will motivate me every time. Stevie Wonder, almost anything. But I'm going to say as.
Come on.
Thank you for the enjoyment and thank you for bringing me life.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Bruncher Bestie.
Thank you, Bruncher.
And I don't think it's giving old at all. I think it's giving great taste. Okay.
it's giving great taste.
Like, period.
Yes.
Like, I would listen, like, just on those two picks alone. I love how they said Stevie Wonder, anything.
Right.
But if I had to pick as, like, come on. Like,
I don't
It's
care what
giving.
age you are, if you're black and you don't know who Earth, Wind, and Fire or Stevie
we have
Wonder
a
is,
problem.
I'm questioning your parenting.
We taking the whole card.
I'm questioning whoever parented
Your ass
you.
can't come to the cookout. This some bullshit.
I want to know who raised you.
Because this is blasphemy.
Because what
We
happened?
need to talk to Jesus immediately.
What is going on? So before we get into it, I think it's time for us to
Pull back that curtain. Come on.
Okay, so there's not a lot out there.
No.
There's not a lot.
This, y'all, this hurt us so bad.
Scraped, and I was like looking through everything.
Everything.
I scraped through like all different eras of television. I scraped all different networks.
Because you had to.
I watched stuff that people like don't usually watch.
Right.
And I was just like, there were barely any gay dads on television.
And let's be clear, like, it's like I think we knew it, but we've been doing this for a while now. And like, you know how you get in the habit? I'm just gonna go to the search engines and I'm gonna see what comes up. And we usually with a lot of our other topics is like, boom, right? Okay, I can, and we're sifting through tons and tons of stuff to get to the quality. This was literally the reverse.
There was not a lot there to look for. So I actually drafted the librarians at my local library to find out.
Y'all,
if
we
they
at
could
the
help
local
me.
library.
And I'm telling you, couldn't find. We found some stuff, but it wasn't a plethora of stuff.
It wasn't.
Because
it wasn't an exhaustive
You
list
know
of
me,
things.
because anything in any category, I want to highlight people of color. Because if we're talking about
Absolutely.
black and queer, but not only were there not a lot of
Queer
dads,
dads.
but there were even fewer black queer dads. It was
And like
so little.
even fewer fill in the blank of the other ethnicity you want to point out there. Like even fewer than that if they exist at all. So when we said earlier, like, okay, we wanted to highlight queer dads, this is why we ended up with queer father figures as well, because the characters weren't written that way if they showed up at all. So, it kind of points to something that I think is really important that we talk about all the time in education, that, representation matters.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think we've talked about this being two openly queer black men, how impactful it would have been to see
Absolutely.
characters of just, of joy, of prominence, of pride, just like they did with any other identity. I shouldn't say did with any other, because even back then in television in the late 70s and 80s, right, when it was really capturing our attention, there wasn't a lot of representation for a lot of other things. So we did not have that. That queer black representation could have been so powerful for us, especially if we had seen them in parental roles.
Absolutely. I agree. So that concludes my pull back the curtain.
Yeah, but we got some good selections for y'all now.
I pulled from a few articles to grab my things.
Same.
You probably came up with the same 5 articles too.
I know it's messed up.
That came out.
But hopefully we didn't come up with the same selection.
We might have.
We might have, but
there
it's
wasn't
fine.
a lot. I feel like I can cover everything I selected in this episode because there was not a lot. But go ahead.
But okay, so I wanted to start with, I actually want to go animated. And I say this on purpose. Now, it wasn't that limited that I couldn't have picked different other queer dads, but I want to actually go into animated shows, and particularly want to go to DuckTales.
Okay.
Right? And I want to go to the updated one of DuckTales. And I bring this up because the normalization of these queer characters. So there's these two characters on DuckTales, the 2017 version, which is actually really good, y'all. If you grew up during the time when you watched the original DuckTales, when it was like DuckTales, Tailspin, Chip and Dale's, all of that stuff, Gummy Bears. Like, I'm not talking about that one, but the updated one was actually really, really good, and it was targeted at young viewers. So there's this couple on here. There's this character on here, Violet, which is actually from the original show. Violet Saberwing, and they introduce her two fathers, Ty and Indy. Now, one of them is Michael Chiklis, who, if y'all remember him from...
I did not know that was one of the voices were Michael Chiklis.
Yes, like the commish, the thing, you know, like
yeah.
like all of like him. And so, but what's beautiful is that it's just normalized. It's not one of those episodes where it's like, oh my God, I have two dads. It's at summer camp, and her parents are just dropping her off, and they're just acting like parents. And I love the fact that it's living in this seemingly child's cartoon. It is not overly exposed. It's just like these are these two parents that happen to be dads, and they're duck, and it's not queer coded. It's very, very clear, and how Violet has a really good upbringing with her two dads. And I love to see that it's normalized, particularly in animated shows, and with big production value, like something like Disney's DuckTales. So that's my first vote, because I think it's family friendly, right? We often think about, when we think about different same-sex couples or same-sex parents, that sometimes we don't think that this is appropriate for children, and this is absolutely appropriate for children.
So I won't bring it up now, but like my actual favorite gay dads are from an animated show, but I'm gonna save them for last.
Oh, I love that tidbit.
They're literally
that is
my
so.
favorite.
Oh my God. Okay, what you got then?
But what I got next is so there was a little show back in the early 2000s. It was like other than The Sopranos, it was HBO's like number one original hit series. But 6 Feet Under.
Yes.
Where we're first introduced to Michael C. Hall, who is later famous for Dexter. Michael C. Hall is one of the Fisher brothers that runs their family funeral home. And Michael C. Hall plays David. David Fisher is queer. He's gay. David Fisher spends a lot of the show's, life of the show, dealing with his sexuality.
Yeah. Keeping it hidden for the business,
for different
his
reasons.
father's approval, like all of the tropes that we have come to understand when people want to like be in the closet.
Until he meets this black gay police officer played by Michael St. Patrick, named Keith Charles.
Yes. So you girls will be familiar with Matthew St. Patrick if you were like, you into soap operas. So if you was into All My Children, and I think it was General Hospital. I have to go look at that one up. But I definitely know he was All My Children. I knew this because my mother loved her some All My Children. Okay? So that's how I first learned of Matthew St. Patrick.
Yeah, Matthew St. Patrick plays David Fisher, a black cop, and Keith Charles. David Fisher, Keith Charles, they are this beautiful couple. You see, I think it's probably one of the first times I got to see on television the evolution of a queer couple.
Yes.
That I was paying attention to.
And they also dealt with like the racial aspect of it. Like they didn't shy away from any of this.
6 Feet Under really was
It's one of my all-time favorite shows.
It's one of my favorite
top
shows.
5.
And I feel like 6 Feet Under is one of the shows that has the best series finale that I've ever seen. They said, honey, we not coming back. So let's wrap this all up.
I'm telling you, I don't want to give it away, y'all, because it is a slow burn. But I tell everybody, if you want the best series finale I have ever watched, I was in my feelings.
So David and Keith go through this whole back and forth over once they get married and their relationship becomes solid and they do they've gotten to the point where they've decided they want to become a family
Oh, God,
and
I
become
love this.
fathers.
Yes.
And it's the struggle between whether they do surrogacy or
Adoption.
And, you know, there was the battle back and forth, and they ended up adopting two brothers, two black, both. They were both two boys. They were brothers, siblings to each other, and they were brothers.
And they were
They
brothers.
were both black.
Right.
And raised these two boys, and it's their story and how they become parents and how
It
they
is
end
so
up become
beautiful.
bonding as a family is so beautiful. It's a really great story. I really enjoyed.
And this is early. I'd say, and this is early 2000s.
Early
y'all.
2000s, yes.
So it was groundbreaking for all of that. But I absolutely cannot agree with you more. I love Six Feet. Great choice, by the way.
Yes. Thank you. What you
Okay, so my second animated one that I'm going to go into is none other than Bob's Burger.
got? That's right.
'Cause this always
I forgot
gets
about that.
people.
I always forget about that.
I love me some Bob's Burgers. It's one of my favorite animated shows, right? And yes, the humor is more adult, but it really can be for definitely teenagers, and I would say some of your tweens. So the character I'm talking about is none other than Bob. Now, he's played by H. John Benjamin. You might remember him from Parks and Recreation. He was actually... I remember hearing he played a bit part where he played a lawyer on Parks and Rec. But I remember I wasn't watching the screen and I heard the voice and I looked up and that's how I found out who this. Yeah. Anyway, So now it is not overtly stated that Bob is bisexual or he's on the queer spectrum, but his character is definitely queer coded.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely queer coded. He flirts and like connects with men and women. The way he responds to the other openly like queer people that are on the characters on the show, it's like I love him and Marshmallow. Out of you, y'all.
But listen, I feel like that's one of the reasons why I love Bob's Burgers so much because him and Linda are both just so sexually fluid.
Yes, and like you literally see that a lot out in Tina and Gene. Like Gene is always saying something very fluid. His jokes are very fluid. He plays with like like when they do the Halloween episode, like Gene will do like a vampire man, but then one year he was like Queen Latifah. Like it was just perfect. And the father of this is so accepting of all of their
love
antics.
that choice.
And so I love Bob's Burger. He's
I
one
love
of my
that
favorite
choice.
queer dads.
Come on.
Yes, let's get it.
All right. So I'm next.
Yes, you up next, boo.
All right. So I also in the early 2000s, network television, I really never really paid attention to this show because, white people living their best life. I have a hard time with that show. But there's a show in the early 2000s, had several seasons called Brothers and Sisters.
Okay, talk to me about because I never watched this. How did I miss this?
Well, listen.
I mean, then I didn't watch it.
You know why you missed it? You're black. There were other stuff for us to watch. Early 2000s, you're black, and nobody was interested. We weren't interested in
wanted seasoning.
Callista Flockhart and Sally Field, and
Oh, that's who was on there.
yeah, everybody. Was
I had
on
enough with the Ally
So,
McBeal of it all. I'm like, girl, I
it
can't do it no
is.
more.
It follows a rich family in California called the Walkers. The patriarch of the family passes away, and the remaining brothers and sisters, along with their mother, are struggling to hold together the family business and their own personal lives. Well, one of the brothers of the Walkers, Kevin Walker. So one of the brothers, Kevin, is queer, and you follow the evolution of Kevin trying to. So listen, if you want to find, the queer couple that I'm talking about in this series is called Kevin Walker and Scotty Wandell. Scotty Wandell is played by none other than Luke McFarlane. Luke, you'll know from, oh my gosh, just about everything. He was in Bros.
I'm starting to get an image.
Yeah, he's the lead actor in Bros. He is in, I want to say he was in Fire Island. I feel like he was.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, you're a cutie. Wait a minute.
Yeah. So he has been like Luke McFarlane has been like the queer actor to like bring to stuff, basically because of his role on Brothers and Sisters.
And Brothers. Oh, okay.
Brothers and Sisters. So what 6 Feet Under was for me as like the first queer couple that I watched see the evolution of their relationship on television. This was the same thing for a lot of other people.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
So, but if you want to see like the evolution of their relationship, you can go to YouTube. And YouTube creators have done such a good job of giving you a series of clips. There's a playlist called Brothers and Sisters, Kevin and Scotty. And you can see the evolution of their entire relationship through the whole series. And it had I think they had 5 seasons. How many seasons did they have?
Oh, wait a minute. So this character it wasn't one of those characters
seasons.
where like, I'm going to keep you in the closet. We're not going to talk about it. And then like 3 seasons in there finally.
Just like,
from jump.
Just like 6 Feet Under.
From the jump.
They have a back and forth, hot and cold relationship.
Baby, you gay right out the gate.
A bunch of things different happen. Like he's gay, but then he's closeted.
Ooh.
The brother's closeted. Like maybe out, but when he meets Scotty, he actually sees what out is. And Scotty is like, yeah, you're out, but you don't like yourself. Blah, 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 blah,
Ooh,
blah.
plot twist.
And so he teaches him how to love himself. He teaches him how to
Come
love.
on, teach him how to love your goddamn self. No?
They deal with matters of wealth. And because, Scotty's, everyday man struggling, just a waiter, cater waiter. And Kevin comes from a wealthy family. And they go through this back and forth.
Now, question.
Yes.
Both of these boys.
They're both white.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just checking. I'm just
white.
checking.
But you watch through the entire, if you can go to YouTube and watch their whole relationship, I was like, oh, this was beautiful, like how they ended up. Because this series happened before marriage equality.
Oh, so this really is a big deal.
Yeah, so they actually this lasted from 2006 to 2011.
Yeah. Can we just point out like that part right there? So for those of us who are old enough to like watch television and experience television pre marriage equality, when we would see, I think for me, when we would see 2 men get married or 2 same gender loving people get married, it always felt like a wish. It always made the show. It always reminded me that this show is fantasy.
Well, Brothers and
the
Sisters,
show isn't real.
Brothers and Sisters dealt with this very well because a lot of it was around because at the time the legal option in California was filing for domestic partnership.
That's right.
And so that was the thing, and then it's like dealing with their feelings around that and what the idea of marriage was and that back and forth. And then they get to the stage of their marriage where, now they're deciding to have children. They decide to go through surrogacy. Surrogacy has its issues, and they deal with loss because they had miscarriages during the surrogacy.
Wow.
They end up adopting.
Which happens, yeah.
And then the whole series around bonding with their child that they've now adopted and like all this. And then to find out that one of their children wasn't a miscarriage and that
plot twist.
that the mother kept the child.
Oh,
they
shit.
saw her at the airport with a baby
no,
one
she
day.
didn't. No, they
And they came. And
Child cheese. I remember to watch this series just to get to that point.
Yes.
I would fight that.
No, you don't. Go to YouTube.
No, I want to watch the whole shit. I want all of it.
No, you want all of their story because what
the
happened?
rest of the stories ain't that good.
I don't care. Do you care
damn.
about? I did not care about Calista Flockhart being married.
That's right. That's the Calista part. Okay,
being married to
you're
Rob
right.
Lowe.
Oh,
And then it was that show, and I was like, I don't care. I don't care about none of that. But YouTube, they do a really good job of like cutting down the entire like relationship. So you see their entire relationship from season 1, every single episode, all their storylines are strung together on YouTube.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah,
I'm
that
gonna
was
do that. I
actually
like that
pretty
right
good.
there. I like that right there.
And they do a really good job, so you don't feel like you're missing anything. They put in like filler information, so you know what's happening with the next scene. All right, what's yours? Go.
So, all right, this is when I start to get into my father figurely couple choices I got here. So my first one, because I think we're still sitting up in 2000s, is one of the shows that I think really put Netflix on the map,
Okay.
and that is Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, thought you were talking about Titus's
You
character.
know I'm talking about Titus's character. And
Yes.
we haven't talked much about Titus, but y'all, it one of the original OG hits of Netflix. I think it was to me, it was one of the first shows that made networks pay attention to what Netflix
it's
was
them
doing.
and Orange is the New Black, yeah.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And so even though, again, Titus's character isn't meant to be, he's not written as a fatherly figure, but for many reasons, I think the character won the hearts of many because he was definitely mentoring Kimmy and like half of the cast, like as the main character was trying to navigate life. I think what I loved about the character is that it allowed us to question and redefine what Black queer men could look like, right? It allowed femininity to just be a part of a fabric. It allowed it to be dynamic and allowed it to be free and unapologetic. And I think at times especially during that time, I felt like as a Black queer man, we were expected to show up a certain kind of way. Even in the queer circles and queer spaces, Black gay men are supposed to show up like a certain kind of way. And Titus was just being Titus and took this character to the nth degree and just allowed this character to not only, I still feel like I was talking to a man, but allowed this man to be however queer and gay and glittery he wanted to be. And I love that. And so I think when people are just looking for like some kind of representation or just some kind of funness with a queer fatherly figure in a really fun and easy digestible way, I would recommend Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Okay, I like that. Okay, I have two dads played by one actor. Two dads.
Two dads played by one actor.
Two queer dads played by one actor.
What you talking about, Willis?
So this actor's name is J. August Charles.
What is you talking about?
J. August Charles. Oh my God, you'll know him as Mike Peterson from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
What is this? Wait.
So yeah, he was Charles Gunn in Angel. Yeah, he's done a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I would say in this was like 2020, the first time he played a queer dad was on a very short-lived series called Council of Dads.
Okay. This is the first I've ever heard of this show. When I was doing my research, I was like, I don't even know what this show is. What is this show?
I did watch the show. I feel like the show only had like one season, but let me make sure that is correct. Yes, it only had one season. It follows the Parker family. They have, I believe, 4 children, 3. I don't know. They have a bunch of kids.
They got a bunch of broods.
They have a bunch of kids ranging in ages from like a baby all the way up to like a teenager. They have a bunch of different kids.
Okay.
And I believe some of them are adopted. Some of them, they had together.
Okay.
So the father of I believe they're the Parker family, dies from cancer.
Oh, damn. Okay.
From a long battle of cancer.
All right.
Okay.
Sad.
And so that's the first episode.
Oh, they just hit you with it.
He
Damn.
dies from cancer, but before he passed away, he left a message to his 5 best friends that he elected to create a council of dads to be fathers to his children.
Oh, shit. Nah, I love the title now. Oh, wait a minute.
So he brings
Oh,
together.
damn. That's
his,
kind of sweet, actually.
Not 5. I'm sorry, 4. There are 4 of his best good friends. J. August Richards, and he plays Dr. Oliver Post, who is also married to another Black man. He's a doctor. He is not only being father to his best friend's children.
Mm-hmm.
He and his partner are also have a newborn. They are just about to create the adoption process or become fathers of their own. And they deal with a lot of like back and forth things around fatherhood, and there's a variety of different issues.
Okay, now.
But I believe this is the role when this role happened for J. August Richards. He had actually come out of the closet in real life.
Oh, so that's why you were saying the two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So no, because he also J. August Richards also plays a queer dad in one of my favorite television shows that I have mentioned several different times called Generation.
Wait, he played.
Yes, remember the black girl? She had two dads.
Shut the front door, bitch! I forgot
the
about
black
that.
girl in the group had two dads, and like
That's right.
how they interact with each other, and like I felt like J. August Richards had a lot more fun playing a queer man in this one
than he did in
the other one,
Generations.
because he let loose, honey. He was letting white people have it about their homophobia.
Ooh.
Because remember, they were best friends with one of the other kids' parents. They were best friends with the mother of the boy that had just come out as bisexual.
You better know your damn history on this show. We need to do a trivia night on Generations.
And
we gonna rock that shit.
There's a scene where the four parents are sitting down discussing the son coming out of the closet.
Ooh.
And it's a read. It's a
child.
It is a
Do you remember
full
how many
read.
seasons Generations got?
It only had the one.
Generations only had one season.
Let me get this. Let me make sure.
You
I got
done
this right.
wait a minute.
Yeah, Generation only. Wait, it is one season. Remember, and it was 2021. Remember, you can't binge watch Generation because they removed it from Max. Their streaming.
goddamn.
It was one of their properties they removed from streaming, and it was on Tubi for a little while, but now it's no longer on Tubi. I have theories around why that's not available anymore, but
we'll keep that to ourselves.
I'll keep it to myself.
Oh my god. Okay,
but
well,
yeah.
damn, I didn't know. Okay, let's go. Council of Dads.
Council of Dads and Generation.
Generation. That's such a. Go ahead, boy.
Okay,
I
what
love
you got?
that. Okay, I got two more. I'll say my favorite for last. But another fatherly figure, and then I'm gonna get back to the fathers. I'm gonna go back to a throwback.
What you got?
True Blood. We gotta bring in. I think we gotta bring in
Bring me
Lafayette.
some Lafayette.
We have to bring in Lafayette on this.
Lafayette raised everybody, hon.
I was just about to say on the show. And just, oh my God, I just love, and God rest Nelson Ellis, rest in peace. But damn, he played the hell out of this
An
character.
amazing talent gone too soon.
Seriously, stole every scene he was in.
In fact, so True Blood was a series of novels before the series actually became a thing on Max.
Yeah.
And in the first season...
Well, wait a minute. We back to HBO Max. They said they're going back. They're going back to the HBO Max.
They're HBO Max now. I'm
Just
so
saying,
sorry.
they
They're
just bring it
HBO
back.
Max. They be like... they were so rude about it, too. They be like, Max becomes HBO Max. I'm like, girl, y'all
did this.
Y'all just gonna pretend like y'all wasn't named that the first time because we said this was not a good idea.
Don't do that. It's
Everybody
HBO Max.
thought that was like, I've been respecting you and trying not to dead name you.
Right, but I'm like, okay, Max it is.
But
Not
HBO Max. Because I feel like I'm the only one that was calling it Max. Nobody else was.
I wasn't. It was always HBO Max.
So anyway, at the end of the first season, the cliffhanger,
Yeah.
someone dies and they find a body in the car. In the book, it was supposed to be Lafayette.
Bitch, what?
Lafayette.
You out lying. Don't play in my face, Roger. I'm not here for this.
In the book.
Don't you play in my face.
In the book, Lafayette dies. Should have died at the end of the first season.
I never knew this.
But because Lafayette was such an incredible character on
it
that
would have been
series,
a travesty.
Everybody was like,
they ain't gonna watch it.
No.
You take out Lafayette.
No, we're all
this.
watching it for Lafayette.
Stop playing.
Because I promise you, I would not. Well, Tara, I did love her.
Okay, I was about to let's slow down just a little bit. True Blood was cute.
Cute. Listen,
She was a cute girl.
That was a good show.
It was.
It was a good show. It did jump the shark at some point, but it was a good show.
I mean, that's most all good shows end up doing that at some point.
Because people don't know how to
Like, what
call
the hell
it
y'all
quits.
doing? It's just too much.
But yes,
Yeah,
Lafayette, I
Lafayette.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. It's me.
It's on you.
I don't want to do my I don't want to do my animated one yet because you still got one more.
I just have one more, and it's not animated.
Okay. I'm sure I'm gonna go with them because they are.
Why? Oh no, your energy. Like why? Like I'm gonna go with them. I feel a little reluctant energy here.
All right. No. Because I'm always trying to feature like people of color when we're talking about these lists.
I know.
But the landscape was so bare bones.
I know.
And
so sad.
we can't talk about queer dads, unless we talk about the queer couple that has been on television, probably the longest that we've ever seen on 11 seasons.
You're right.
Is A Modern Family's
You're
Cam
right.
and Mitchell.
And I hate to say it because, they're lovely people.
yeah,
And it's great.
it's great, but
Like,
listen, it's a hilarious show. It definitely deserved 11
it
seasons.
did. Did
They
it though?
did it.
I mean, did it though? It was
I mean,
11 seasons.
I would have stopped at 5, but everybody wanted their money.
And they got it.
And they got it.
Like shit.
But yeah, Cam and Mitchell really brought into American consciousness normalizing what it meant to be like a gay married family.
Yeah.
Like, not just like, this is how we stumbled into father. It wasn't about the struggle to fatherhood.
Mm-mm.
It was we were introduced to them as fathers. Period.
Yes. A family. And it also gave, I think, existing queer families, queer dads with kids, it gave them a grounding, right? Like, this is just what one version of it could look like. But remember when we were talking earlier about not having, when we were younger, having queer black dads we could look to on television. Well, here are these young, I think at around the time of Modern Family, you had a lot more same-sex couples being out, starting families. And yes, they had support within themselves, but it was also nice to turn on primetime television and see some level of representation in a really, really good way because they were incredible. Like, they were incredible at how they showed up in the Modern Family universe, if you will. So I appreciate that they showed an aesthetic, not only for people who were non-queer, who were like, this is what this could look like. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And for queer couples who actually had kids, they could turn on this sitcom. Like, I've gone through that same shit. I've dealt with that with the same stuff we deal with at a PTA, or you walk into a meeting to go meet with your teacher, and they're like, so when is Miss So-and-so showing up?
When is she going to show it? Right. All of these normal everyday things.
Yeah, it was great.
So
It was great. It's still a good choice, but I know with us, we're like, God dang.
all right. So my favorites,
We're going to do the favorite?
my
Yes.
favorites are a tie.
You have a tie for favorite?
They're both animated.
Okay. Ooh, so we don't have the same number one. I love this.
Where they're both animated dads. Okay.
Okay.
All
What are
right.
you going to tell us?
So there's one animated father couple that is on She-Ra, Princess of Power.
Y'all got me joking. Bro, I just talk about She-Ra. I love this fucking show.
Have you watched the updated
Yes,
Netflix?
yes.
Listen, show is so amazing.
It's so good.
One of the main characters, Bo, is voiced by Marcus Scribner, who is from Blackish.
Yes. Oh my God. And they drew them cute too. It's
Yes.
a cute little couple.
And so Bo has two dads. They are, one's a warrior, one is I believe a librarian, right?
yeah, like a book, like a writer, librarian, something like that, bookkeeper or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bo's two parents, George and Lance, were just
They were so
they were so adorable. Two black dads.
Yes. I was going to say that. Like, they shaded them black. Like, you knew
right.
they were
two
of
different
darker.
shades of black.
Yes.
Right.
It was like, yeah.
And it was just it was so sweet. Their
Oh my
relationship
God.
was so sweet.
I'm clutching pearls, y'all.
And how they fawned over their son. It was so amazing.
So proud. Always proud of their son.
But-
always loving.
But there was not a couple more adorable than oh my God, why can't I think of their names? Howard and Harold McBride on The Loud House. Have you ever seen this show?
Oh my God. Like, I didn't know you got into animated like this.
I literally started watching The Loud House because of this.
Isn't this crazy? I love this.
I believe Loud House is Nickelodeon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nickelodeon. All right. So if you have not seen The Loud House,
Yo, y'all gotta check this
Listen.
out. It's so funny.
The Loud House is about a little boy that has a gazillion brothers and sisters, and like their last name is Loud, their house is loud. This little boy is trying to like get attention amongst his many different sisters.
Mhm.
And I believe he's the only boy of a bunch of
think, yeah.
sisters. Yeah. So he has a bunch of different sisters. He's the only boy, and he has a best friend named Clyde, who happens to be black and has two dads named Howard and Harold, and who are voiced by Michael McDonald and Wayne Brady.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Well, he's pansexual, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Wayne
yes, I got that.
Brady is Pan.
Oh my God, yes. This show is so...
Every time I think about that, somebody made that joke on Twitter that they were like, of course Wayne Brady is pansexual. It's the yes and of sexualities. I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
That is like perfect. That is perfect. That is so awesome. I didn't know you watched Loud House.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
So again, that's another couple. You can burn through all of their scenes on YouTube and
Oh.
just see like
But this show is actually really good.
this show is really good. If you want to just grab some joy and just overdose
And,
on
yeah.
just Howard and Harold McBride,
Yeah.
you can do that.
And honestly, for our brunchers who might be thinking about, okay, well, I want to introduce my kids to some like queer characters, that could be a great way for them to check out the storylines themselves. Just go look at it on YouTube
this
before you
show-
introduce them to
and
the
this
show.
show is so age appropriate. And when I tell you,
It's Nickelodeon. Like they do
There's-
most of their products now.
listen,
90s Nickelodeon was raw as shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
they are the most adorable helicopter parents
But they kind of
you will ever meet.
Yeah.
And they're very like, so Clyde and I can't remember the main little boy's name on the Loud family.
I ain't seen this in a minute now. You're gonna help me out, and plus I'm definitely in the stratosphere now. I am
Well,
up
the
there,
two main
boo.
characters are best friends because one comes from a single parent home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I'm sorry, he is an only child. Clyde is an only child, where a little boy from the Loud House
is 9, one of 900.
he has a bunch of
Just
like
bunch of babies, just bunch of them.
sisters, and how they have very different lives, and how the little boy from the Loud House doesn't get a lot of attention, and Clyde's parents, the McBrides, they are on it. Put your seatbelt on when you sit down in that little dining room chair.
It's so cute. It is so cute.
No.
And I love, again, normalizing these kinds of families. I just love this. This is
I
kind
would
of
like to have a pickle. I don't know. That pickle juice in your eye, that's kind of dangerous,
I
honey.
know. It's so, oh my God. It's one of the sweetest
They're
shows
so
ever.
sweet. Oh my
And
god.
I think we all could use a dose of sweet. I'm actually glad that these made our list because
Yeah.
it's bringing me so much joy just talking about them and remembering.
I think we have
those
like
episodes.
a huge range. What is your
Okay,
favorite?
my favorite queer dad,
Got
I
it.
am happy to say, is technically he's a father figure, but he's a TV dad. It comes from a sitcom.
Okay.
It is his character, his marriage, and his family was the inspiration for my family. So my partner and I have 2 corgis, and we got the idea from watching these 2 on the show and their corgi. As a matter of fact, our corgis are named after cheeses, and their corgi is named after cheeses. So I'm talking about Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm talking about Captain Raymond Holt, played by the late, great Andre Braugher, who you might remember.
Okay.
And his husband on the show, Kevin Costner, not Costner, but Costner, played by Mark Evan Jackson, who was on Parks and Rec. It's an interracial couple, and they have a small dog named Cheddar. And our dogs are named Pepperjack and Monterey. And so what this is, it's like he's a
Hold on. I think that's the first time I learned the names of your dogs. Woo! Not Pepperjack and Monterey.
And Monterey, baby. Well,
Okay.
Monterey Jack, but I just call him Monterey for short. And my babies. So what's great about this show is that he ends up being essentially the father, and they play on this a lot through the seasons, to a bunch of cops, to a bunch of detectives. But Andre Braugher, who it was heterosexual during his life, I want to bring him up because I just think he was a great father. When he had unfortunately passed away suddenly, the outpouring of love from people who had followed him since Homicide on the Street, since Glory, since all the stuff he had done and the work he had done on Broadway, his sons were so proud of him and they loved him so much. And then what's his name? Adam Sandberg, who played the main character on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, who legitimately looked at him as his character looked at him as a father figure, and so did Adam. And Adam's response to Andre's passing was just how much he was on set and how he really kept the cast together. He would talk positively about them, and he loved to talk about his sons. And that showed up a lot in how Andre portrayed this character and how he had, he went just above and beyond. He had a lot of queer friends, but he really wanted to do this character justice. And so even though, yes, sometimes I do get upset with, heterosexual men playing queer characters. I just think in this case, he had done such a faithful adaptation to what interracial relationships could look like, how to just, so, and they how to deal with complications in your marriage. There was a part of the season where they had broken up, him and his husband, and they got back together. They walk through that. They work you through that, and just how he becomes a better person being around these people he is being a father to. He is literally my favorite queer dad on television.
So
ever.
I want to touch on that. I want to touch on that because I've definitely struggled with this for a while around straight actors playing queer characters because you are taking up space. You're taking up space where there's so much more space for you in other places, and you're taking up spaces where it's already hard for out performers or out actors to be able to get work to play the roles that were probably made for them anyway.
Right.
However, not all of them want to play queer roles,
right,
and not all of them are out, and that is not a reason why you should or should not. I think I only have a problem when straight actors play queer roles when they are mediocre actors giving mediocre performances in queer roles. Because
I agree with that.
Anybody else, there was a whole line of out actors that could have been done this. Just because you are a name or you're a box office draw, if you're going to play a queer character, do the work. Right. Do the homework and knock it out the park.
It's almost like the reaction to it. It's almost like, look at the how much this actor is growing by playing this queer. Stop. It takes all of this extra discipline and extra talent to be able to play a gay character. That's not why. That's not why. That's what gets on my nerves.
I appreciate the actors that are like, of course, like, who cares? Like, I wanted to play this role because it's an amazing role and it's a beautiful story. And if I get the opportunity to do this, and they also have a relationship to the community. Like, usually actors that do it really well, like I'm looking at Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Are in, like, have a support for the community, and also plays queer characters really well because he does the homework.
Yeah.
You also have 007.
Daniel Craig.
Plays queer characters very well.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie has done some. What's his name? He played Venom. Tom Hardy. I'm like, you're right. And I think the other side of that coin is what often pisses me off is that openly gay actors, why can't we see them in a straight role, right? And we're giving so much credit to these heterosexual men who are putting on this part of this identity to show up. Why can't, why can't we be convinced that for this? And I think that's the problem. It's like if you're openly queer, you can only play openly queer.
It was one of the reasons why it took so long for folks that were already out of the closet but were becoming successful but weren't being open about their lives, like Zachary Quinto. Was concerned about how he was his choices in scripts and what he wanted to play started to shrink as people were starting to be aware of his sexuality.
Yep. Because he had created this persona in Hollywood that people wanted to pigeonhole him and make him seem like whatever he wasn't. So I absolutely hear that. And so to that point where
Matt Bomer's complains about the same.
Well, he had a whole different issue. Was it him? It was him that lost out, right? Because didn't Perez Hilton out him?
Yeah, Perez Hilton outed him. That's one.
And that effed up the whole thing for him.
Up. And then, he definitely believes and has expressed that he felt that being outed is what lost him the role as Superman. Because Matt Bomer was supposed to play Superman.
Yeah, I hear that. I get that. That's what I loved about Brooklyn Nine-Nine, to kind of bring it back home, is that they didn't make it a big thing. They made it a thing, and they talked about him not coming out and why he didn't share it right away. Because he had been of a certain age when, how he put it in the show was, if he had friends who were white, they were either homophobic or racist, right? So if the friend of yours was homophobic, that was better because he wasn't racist against me being black, so we could be friends. So I just never talked about my sexuality. Wow. And they talked about and then years later, going through the police, being on the police force, and then coming out. So him starting the show, season 1, was actually him coming out as this character. Yes, yeah. And how you see how the rest of the characters just normalize it. Okay, great. Oh, that's your husband? Perfect. We love it. Let's keep going. Right? And they were more interested in learning about him than his sexuality. So I love this show for this. And I think what I want to say about this list that we've crafted, which I'm really proud of, even though we're talking about scraping the bottom of the barrel, I feel like everything that we offered is easily digestible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because we could have talked about other characters. We know there's a lot of queer stories out there that are steeped in trauma and steeped in ugliness, but we offered animated shows. We offered some shows that were characters that would make us laugh, that would make us think.
We also gave you some deep drama with
deep drama. Yes, definitely deep drama.
6 Feet Under is a heavy
lift. And True Blood, it is.
And True Blood, these are all heavy lifts, but at the same time, I like to make sure that we have a full range.
It's well-rounded, yeah. So I love this list today.
I think if we, just like any other thing that we talk about, if there is something that we did not mention, please send us a text or drop something in the comment and let us know who your favorite queer dad and who that is and who we might not have mentioned or may have missed. Yeah. Because I love discovering some new stuff.
Okay. This show alone has upped my television game. All right.
Oh, and before I forget to mention, last episode we talked about my list that I curated, gay love stories that don't star 2 white men, parentheses, maybe 1, but not 2.
Yes.
So many of you have inboxed me on Instagram and on TikTok to talk about this list. And I'm so excited that so many of you are getting excited about this list and are starting to see some of the shows. And I'm hearing really great positive responses. And so I'm just, thank you all. Thank you all. And please keep sending me suggestions of new movies to watch.
Oh, I love that. That list was incredible.
Yeah. We had a good time.
I'm still watching that shit on there.
Ooh, what you watching now?
Well, right now, I told you, before we're on horror right now.
Oh, you watching some horror.
I'm watching, because I'm just in the mood.
Okay.
I wish y'all could see his face.
You love to pay to make yourself scared. When I tell you the only horror I'm watching right now is Sinners.
Okay, so that's different. Oh, I will tell you one I did watch. I did check out the one in Alaska.
My Norwegian.
Alaska is drag.
Alaska is a drag.
That was fire. That was so good.
I love that movie.
Because you kept talking about that one. I did watch that one.
Okay, good.
I had to go back to the list. I crossed off one of them. So I watched off that one. And the next one on my list is Norwegian Dream.
Oh, yeah, that one's sweet.
Yeah,
that is sweet.
Yeah.
I think you're really going to enjoy that one.
Yeah.
So I think that's all we have.
That's all we got now.
Yeah. What do you want to tell the people?
I want to tell the people happy Pride, happy Father's Day, and just be out in the world, be good, and be good at it. And actually be safe, because there's a lot of shit going on. So please be safe, y'all.
Happy Pride, happy Father's Day, and a happy early birthday to my co-host, Alexis Bertrand.
Thank you for my early birthday shout out. Thank you. Gemini season, y'all.
So listen, I want you to know that you are enough just as you are. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.